in this city made for sound, but even we had grown cold. On the street where the bourbon flowed, authority rode a four-legged steed, rode it through our freak gathering, answered the tarot's call, and I had become a voodoo doll.
Welcome to Audio Carnage Podcast. We are here with the Infamists guys. Thank you so much for coming on. Let's go ahead and introduce everybody. Who would like to start?
I'm Riley Rogers. I play guitar and I sing.
Ryan Weiss, play drums.
And I'm Spencer, and I play the bass and sing.
So, guys, when did the band originally form? I know we talked about it before, but...
Yeah, so pretty well-known story. So it was like 2012. I moved here from Amarillo. Spencer and I were both on Craigslist looking for a drummer, basically, to start a band. And we found Ryan on there. We had another drummer for like a few shows, and then we had like another fill-in guy. And then like we met up with Ryan and took him out to my parents' place in Decatur, you know, like a serial killer. And you know, he probably thought we were gonna like shave his testicles and keep his skin for a lampshade or something. And it ended up being between like him and another guy. And Spencer and I talked about like which one we wanted, and I was like, I like Ryan more because he beats the shit out of the drums harder, and that was like what I wanted. Yeah. So yeah, it was Craigslist, essentially.
That's
Casual encounters, you know?
That's actually how my band formed.
We're all celibate, though. So.
We all met from this one dude on Craigslist, and then he got all of us together, and then he escorted himself out of the band for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
Long story.
Was
we're
his
not
name
getting...
Craig?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Alright, so what would you say your favorite local band is? You can't say a project that you're involved with.
Okay.
Could be a band that's not around
like
anymore.
Denton or all of DFW or probably Denton.
We could do Denton and DFW. If you have two from like the different scenes, that's fine.
That's hard to pick, man. There's a lot.
I guess Denton, Moniker. I think all those guys live, or most of them live in Denton.
Yeah,
I'm a big Moniker fan.
Moniker's great.
I've actually never heard of Moniker.
MNKR. Yeah.
Are they still around?
Yeah, they play. Yeah.
DFW, Meech Pango.
Meech Pango puts on a good show. I saw them at a couple different house shows.
Yeah, Denton I really like. Diesel Beast, Summit's great. Radio Horror, Little Brother Karthik, you know, keeping the blues alive. Love them.
They're going to be on this. I think they might be the next band that's going to be like, they might be the next episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Karthik's a great
we're friends.
He's also really good.
Yeah, it's hard to pick a favorite. We're friends with so many people.
And then
Mud Falcon, Silver Tongue.
We've got our new favorite though from Dallas, which is King Clam.
King Clam.
That band kicks ass.
Dude, that's the best rock band of the year right now.
Right? Yeah, and then of course the old guard, which is Novocaine.
Can't forget Novocaine. The Rindle Light. I mean, the list just goes on forever. So many.
So, what would you say your favorite local venue is? Now, it can be. Let's keep this to Denton. If you
sure.
We can go to Dallas if we choose to.
Yeah, Denton's easier.
And it can't be someplace that's gone.
Andy's.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
personally,
Andy's
Andy's is
Andy's
back.
is great.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
Andy's. So
Andy's. Our first gig was at Haley's.
Oh, rest in
for
peace.
Game
Yeah.
Changers, you know.
That place
before-
fucked up by getting rid of
before
those. If they
the-
would have kept the stage, that place would have
Yeah.
done so well.
Haley's
Right.
before the machines took over.
Yeah.
And
You know.
I mean, I love Dan's and Harvest House, but
Yeah.
Dan, there's something about Andy's that is.
yeah, we've never had a bad show at Dan's or Harvest House. Last night J&J's was probably
Fucking off the
one
hook.
of our best local shows.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know about a favorite. I would probably say,
I love the sound at Dan's.
Yeah,
like
Dan's
it's
is
always
great.
sounded great there. But yeah, as far as like just the vibe.
Dan's and Andy's venue wise, but Harvest House for just the people are already there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Harvest House is a dope spot.
Yeah.
I've only gotten to play there like as a Guitar Center recital, but like
Yeah.
I want to play there
Awesome.
as a actual like
Right.
a real show.
that has a completely different atmosphere. That
Yeah.
feels like a step above being local.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
Yeah.
like
Yes.
who you are. That it feels like
It's definitely a nice spot.
And what's interesting about it is like you have this kind of built-in crowd in addition to the people that come to see you. So you get all these just townspeople that are there. So like depending on what kind of music you play, you know, like where if you book a show at Andy's and it's like a metal show, people that are there to see the metal.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're
You
like
have a variety.
if you're a heavy band and you play at Harvest House, you might have like a crowd that's not into that. So Harvest House is kind of cool to play because it's like cool. We're palatable enough for just a generic crowd of people
Yeah.
that could like anything. You know, it's like it's not like there for a genre. And I always like that challenge. Like, can we entertain like just a crowd of
people that
Yeah, be heavy,
you know.
but like be
Yeah.
in the pocket enough
Yeah,
where.
Yeah.
tasteful.
Yeah.
Heavy.
So Harvest House is a challenge with the crowd, but I like that. kind
Yeah,
of
no,
challenge.
that's a good venue.
Yeah.
I really like that place.
that's my favorite place to go see bands.
Yeah, same. That's
I've
awesome.
never
Yeah.
actually seen a band there, which-
Visually and being outside.
Yeah.
and it's
Oh, I can
just-
imagine like a nice evening, like when fall.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to be the talent buyer at Andy's, so like I've spent a lot of nights in that dingy basement and in the dingy bar, and I love it. Even I know some people don't like the new Andy's just because.
Oh no, the remodel I thought was fucking.
A lot of
love it.
people
Yeah.
don't like it because they miss the grime, and I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I get it.
That's
but-
why we had J&J.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I get it, but like
I always thought New
Yeah.
Andy's reminded me a lot of Profit Bar.
Yeah.
yeah,
Dallas.
but it's like
Yeah.
nicer
Yeah.
profit.
Well,
Not
it
like
was-
better Profit Bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After
much
the
better.
remodel, it became a venue that I feel like bigger bands were going to want to come again.
Oh, yeah,
now,
sure, yeah.
2020 killed everything. Now I'm just so happy that they're back. Like
Yeah,
confirmed
me too.
booking, like actually
Yeah.
definitely.
The last show I saw at Andy's, I think one of the big ones before COVID, Horrors played there. I like
Yeah.
Horrors a lot, and they played Thin Line Fest there.
Yeah, like there were a couple bands I saw, like She Wants Revenge, like came, and
Yeah.
the guy from the Civil Wars.
Yeah.
I forget his
Yep.
name.
Yeah.
Power Trip played there.
Power
Like,
Trip played
yeah.
Power Trip played a lot of places here.
Yeah. Yeah, but Andy's definitely I'm a fan of the post remodel, personally.
Oh, I am too.
I liked them both, but you know,
No, I'm all for things getting nicer as long as we get to keep those.
Yeah.
Things. Like it would have
Yeah.
been. Like I want things to be improved, but
That's what
I don't want
waffle
those
fries-
improvements
I
to
mean,
ruin
this-
what
Yeah,
the shit
you don't
is.
want it to be
the ceiling,
antiseptic, you know.
the ceiling still leaks, so I mean it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's some stuff that you cannot.
You can't
fix.
start
Structures
fixing that.
that
Don't
several
fix that.
buildings.
Yeah, don't fix that. I always
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
never
Never
knowing
sleep, you
if
know.
I'm gonna get sprayed with water from
Yeah.
Pascal's or not.
Yeah,
So
I know the government hates leakers, but at Andy's it's like you
It's
know
okay.
that's like our one. So you know keep that. The waffle fries are fire. Sounds great. You know Erica Pipes is there most
Yeah.
of the time still.
yeah, we
Sweetheart.
love the staff.
Yeah, her
Yeah.
band
They're all
Temptress.
homies.
Of course, Temptress is great.
So, what's the best concert that you have ever been to, like live? Let's leave this to like pro bands or
Like big ones.
Yeah.
We've been to a few together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw
Guns N'
GNR.
Roses was
Yeah.
fucking good.
Guns N' Roses
That was
was
cool.
cool.
The Stones was cool.
Stones were cool. Me and Spencer went to the Stones.
Riley and I saw Steel Panther.
Yeah, that was fun.
that sounds like
that was fun.
It was fun. Those guys are insanely talented. Like, it's,
I've seen,
Yeah.
and probably nobody in this room probably has ever listened to or knows who he is, and if they do, I'll be shocked. But Gordon Lightfoot, I've seen Gordon. He's the biggest Canadian folk star.
Yeah.
He's like the Bob Dylan of Canada or whatever. If Bob Dylan's not already Canadian, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've seen him 3 times.
Yeah.
Good show.
A fucking amazing show.
Yeah.
He's got like a 15-piece band and the orchestra.
Oh.
And it's like
Yeah.
it's like a production. You
Yeah.
feel like you're like watching like Swan Lake almost.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
Yeah. Probably my favorite though. Sabbath was my favorite. I went to their final tour.
Oh, the This Is the End tour?
Yeah,
I was
that.
there.
Yeah.
Was it here in Dallas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at the same one.
Yeah. That one was my favorite until I saw Smashing Pumpkins. That's my favorite band, Smashing Pumpkins. And I was like really close to the front. Like I could see all of Billy Corgan's like gear and everything, and it was just like so close I could even see when they would like mess up. And he like tripped over his, you know how he has that long black trench coat for certain songs, he like tripped over it and he like kind of laughed and like nobody noticed, but I was close enough to notice that. So
Yeah.
just, I mean, was it the best like show? It's not even the best Pumpkin show I've seen him a few times, but just being that close to him
Yeah, that experience
was really cool.
Most
So
definitely.
that was at American Airlines, I think.
I've never actually seen a show at American Airlines.
Well,
It's interesting.
I've seen a lot of shows in
different.
Dallas, but
Yeah.
I've went to a lot of the
Not my
festivals.
favorite, but it's cool.
well, I was gonna say 9 Inch Nails I saw at American Airlines, and that was probably that was probably one of my favorite shows. Just the visuals and just
American is enclosed, right? It's
yeah.
Because like I've only seen 9 Inch Nails at outdoor venues, so I feel like what he does light show wise, if it's in a dark room that he fully is controlling, that could be really fucking cool.
It was cool. He was like controlling the LED screen with his hand, or like moving around it was awesome.
So what was the first album you can remember listening to on repeat? I'm talking like as a little kid, like cassette. It can be like even like
I'll
a
go
little
last.
kid thing.
Yeah.
Hotel California with my
Yeah.
dad. That was
Man,
probably top 1 or 2 listened to records of my childhood.
yeah.
Great fucking record too, but also a little cliche. But
Well, it's only cliche because it's been around for so long
It's
and it's so good.
because it's like the best guitar solo of all time.
It definitely
Pretty
is.
goddamn consistently rated best
Yeah.
guitar solo of all time.
Yeah, when they do that like double part.
Yeah,
It is tasty as fuck.
But
Yeah.
that,
And also fun as hell to play.
that album also has the best Joe Walsh song, which is Pretty Maids All in a Row. And it's like a really underrated Eagles song and Joe Walsh song. It's his best one though. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's probably the first one like that I owned and like played in my CD player, my
Yeah.
boombox in my room.
Yeah.
What was yours, Ryan?
It's probably like now that's what I call music 3 or something.
If it makes you feel better, my first one is the Space Jam soundtrack.
That's cool. That's
I gotta
cool.
cassette that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I remember listening to that one, but yeah, it's like
I've said that many times on
if
the
I want
podcast.
to be completely honest, yeah, it was like that or like
Insane.
insane or
Yeah,
Backstreet
Insane.
Boys,
Backstreet Boys.
yeah.
So I'll do you one worse. I was probably like 8 years old, and I watched like the Billboard Music Awards, and I saw Creed.
Oh, we all had that. We all had
loves
that.
Creed.
Keep
That's
it.
just-
Yeah.
Well, like
Guilty
the only
pleasure,
reason
man.
Creed's made fun of is because it was so 90s. It was overdone.
Yeah.
Like everybody
Something
had. There was so many iterations of Creed.
Yeah,
Right.
something about the fireworks and Scott Stapp in a leather suit, like on the edge of a building. They were on a rooftop, and I asked my parents for Human Clay that Christmas, and I just like played the hell out of that. And I still like Creed, and I like defend them all the time and get made fun of.
You went and
But-
saw Creed.
Yeah, I
tribute
went to
band,
Creed,
right?
There was a Creed tribute band the other day. I had the best fun. Everybody made fun of me. And I was like, I had a way better Saturday than all of y'all. So my answer is the worst, but I'm a pretty big Creed fan.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there was a guy there at the Creed tribute show wearing a Nickelback shirt, and the singer was like, "Are you wearing a fucking Nickelback shirt at a Creed show?" And, like all 300 people that were there were like simultaneously like, "Boo!" And it's just like you never thought you'd see Creed fans gang up on a Nickelback.
I gotta say that would be.
There can be only
Yeah.
one, you know. So that's mine. It's Human Clay. I still
Also, that
have it.
brought out a very good story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Human Clay, man. I wrote my name on it so other kids wouldn't steal it.
It's a hot commodity.
No one tried.
No way.
My dad thought it was too heavy too. He was like, "Man, that's pretty intense music." But I obviously got into later stuff. But
what would you say your dream venue is?
To play,
Yeah,
or to just go
like
play,
in
play.
Dallas, like
No.
or
It
just
can be globally.
the Garden. I want to play Madison Square
yeah,
Garden.
that or Red Rocks.
Red Rocks.
So,
Yeah.
is there any other than those two? Because those two
Those
are
are
always,
the two most.
Yeah, everybody always says Red Rocks.
Wembley.
Yeah. Wembley would be
Or
good.
like
Wembley would be
Wembley,
cool.
or maybe
Yeah.
like the Glastonbury Festival.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sure like it's not that fun to do production wise, and they probably make you pre-record stuff and everything, but like the Super Bowl, that assuming the Cowboys ever go again, which
We need to be the big
that would be
obviously.
awesome.
Obviously.
When the Cowboys play the Texans and it's an all Texas Super Bowl,
then
I do
we
have
will play
a
that.
request.
Time.
If y'all ever get to play the Super Bowl and like have me on as like a technical assistant, just be like, oh no, he helps with our game.
yeah.
Oh no, we'll have you throw a guitar. Even.
Yeah.
We'll get
Yes.
you on camera throwing
Yeah.
shit to us.
Yes.
SNL's stage would be cool.
Yeah,
that's
true.
That,
Like even though like the
pre-recorded.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've always had daydreams of doing like the Late Show or some like late night.
just
talk
that
show.
experience. would be cool.
Maybe Whiskey Go and Forum in LA.
Yeah,
That would be cool too.
Back
Yeah.
in the day, now I think they make you like
Sell tickets.
and pay for all the ones you don't sell or something. I don't know. It's all fuck. I'm sure.
Yeah. I feel like there was a good chunk of time where like all the local bands and all the smaller bands had like taken a very solid stance on no of those.
Yeah,
we
don't
didn't
do
get
that.
offered a lot of those pay to play for a while.
Yeah.
Like the only ones we got, we were like, no, thank you, no interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and so it kind of went away. But I've heard it kind of comes back.
That it died around here when Curtain Club closed.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Yeah.
Actually, we used to get offers for that, and we to the point where we put on our Facebook page. We're like, we don't do this.
Yeah,
Like,
so don't ask.
Like,
That's your job as a promoter.
like I mean,
Yeah.
I'll do it if there's certain aspects of it that are favorable to us, but like if we have to pay for all the ones we don't sell, like no way.
Or if we were opening up
For a band that
we like.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
no,
it's like-
that's also makes it easier to sell tickets.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you
Yeah.
want to open for Wolf Mother, sell 20 tickets, no problem.
Yeah,
but,
gotcha.
But if
Yeah.
it's
I
like,
can sell that to my friend.
but,
Yeah.
but if it's like sell 50 and pay for all the ones you don't sell, it's like, man, I can't even get my mom to come do a show that I mean, she would. I kind of tell her not to because I don't want her to.
Yeah, no, I
know what I'm doing.
I know my mom is very supportive of my music stuff.
Yeah.
But man, she's asked me, she's been like, well, tell me when you got a show and I'll come.
Yeah.
I was like, Mom, I love you to death. Whenever I have a show that I'm playing with somebody that you won't
Yeah.
hate,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna subject you to.
Yeah.
Like I know you hate that kind of music.
Yeah.
It's
Why
okay.
do you
have to do all the screaming?
My mom,
Why you so angry?
my mom,
Yeah.
my mom comes to shows every
Yeah.
now and then, but her thing is she doesn't like to be out super late anymore. And I
Yeah,
don't, I
it's
can't blame her.
hard.
I don't like to be
Yeah,
out
I
super
can't
late.
imagine inviting my parents out to like Deep Ellum so we can play at 11 p.m. when they live like
Yeah,
2 hours away. You know?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we've started doing these gigs in Fort Worth that are like, I mean, they're 4-hour gigs, like 6 to 10, but those are like prime time spots that my parents will come out to.
Yeah, your parents drive all the way from DeSoto,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
To come out.
Come out at 7.
And the venue's like
A
nice
restaurant.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, when we open for like somebody, like I'm like, that'll probably be when I finally am like, all right, Mom and Dad, you gotta like drink a Red Bull and come see us because like we're opening for somebody that like you'll
Here's their plugs.
but I'm not gonna invite my parents to Deep Ellum for an 11 o'clock show.
So that's a good segue into my next question. Did you have any family members who played music?
My dad. That's why I play music.
Yeah.
What do you play?
He was a guitar player and piano.
honestly, my dad was in choir, but I really don't have any like familial musical genes.
My mom was a violin player and a singer. My grandfather had an amazing singing voice, but he wasn't like a professional musician. His sister was an opera singer professionally, and she also was like in like orchestra, like several orchestras. So like I have a lot of musicians in the family.
Yeah, my grandpa played organ too. So
I have a few like I mean, like, I don't, like, as far as rock and roll, no, but Grandpa played guitar, Grandma played church organ, sings great, Mom played clarinet, Dad played trombone. That was in, like, middle school, high school. I had an uncle that was a euphonium player for Notre Dame, their marching band.
Oh, that's cool.
And then going way back, my grandma told me this story. There was a fife player in the Continental Army during the Revolutionary War. His name's Guthrie. I don't think it was Rogers, which is my last name, but he's like one of my relatives, and he was a fife player during the war. And she has a like huge dog named Guthrie, and I was just like, "Why'd you name him Guthrie?" And then she told me that, and I was like, "Holy shit,
that's cool."
You like it, yeah. So I have a few, but as far as like rock and roll, like what I'm doing, basically like no.
Well, yeah,
all
I have family members that
marching
play,
band
nobody that plays the kind of music. My parents don't question how I've gotten
There's no other long
Granny doing
hairs.
blast beats.
I've also got
that'd be dope.
yeah, man. I've also got a grandmother that is tone deaf.
Yeah.
And cannot hold a pitch. She like when she sings in church, you're like, oh, grandma, just
Yeah. Dude, our grandma
mouth the
should
words,
fight.
Oh yes.
Grandma Shirley would win that one.
Oh god.
Yeah.
So what would you say your favorite instrument brand is?
Brand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like our respective instruments.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you like play a guitar or you want to say something like.
Christ, I own 35 guitars.
So what would you say is your preferred? Hey, you're like the only person that I know that competes with this household.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this household has a lot.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
There's more upstairs.
Mine's easy. I'll go first. Amps. I'm a Marshall guy. I got the Plexi. Like I've played other amps. They're great, but once I played the Plexi, I was like that Jimmy Page tone. I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I want. And then I've got all different kinds of pedals, but as far as guitars, I've always liked the Gibson models, Flying V's, Les Pauls, SGs. But obviously, like, I don't own any Gibsons. I have like 6 Epiphones, and I'll basically buy them and just like customize the hell out of them. New pickups.
Gotten a lot better quality.
I like mine.
They've caught up to the Gibson quality. The only difference between them now is like I would say probably the pickups that they actually.
I swap them all out.
Yeah, and then tuning pegs. I mean,
the pickups. It's already even where the pickups are made. It's not even like.
Yeah.
The actual pickups.
Like every single Epiphone I have, other than like one, has been like customized to the ends of the earth. To where people still ask me like, what like model Epiphone is that? Where'd you get it? It's like I bought this, took everything out of it, but the wood, it's just completely redone. And Gibsons are great, but you probably know the history of the company now. Like they're not very favorable anymore. They're expensive as fuck. Like I can sell all my Epiphones.
The way I describe it is like Gibsons stayed at their standard quality, and they kind of went a little bit down, but like while they wavered, Epiphones like standard quality went up and up and up and up, and the price didn't go that crazy either. So that's what really made them like. And they're honestly the same company, but I think that's
sure. Yeah.
Like.
I like those body shapes. I like that look. I like those.
Oh, and they definitely are an iconic thing.
$500 to get one and customize it, and it's great.
Yeah, if you prefer the Gibson
pickups,
just nobody pickups.
Nobody really makes fun of me for playing Epiphone because I put so much work into them, and it's like if you want to give me a Gibson, I'll totally play one. But that body style, I like Fender too. I have a Strat. I'm kind of getting more into that.
I like Strats.
But yeah, I'm pretty basic, as far as that kind of stuff.
What about you, Ryan?
DW drums. In there is a PDP, and DW owns PDP, so and they're kind of like the same thing with Epiphone. Like their quality is like almost just as good, if not like right on par with DW's. And as far as like cymbals, Zildjian mostly, but I also really like Meinl too.
What about sticks?
I'm usually a Vic Firth guy, but I've been really getting into Vader's Power 5Bs. But yeah, I'd say Vic Firth for the most part.
Any specific brand of picks?
Man,
the turtles. What are the turtle ones?
Tortex.
Every time I
that's
go
what
to
I
Guitar Center, I take like 3 or 4 from the little bin of free picks with the little red ones. I take those.
Yeah.
I work at Guitar Center, and I personally think those Guitar Center picks are garbage.
I actually use those a lot.
I haven't bought guitar picks in like so long. I just go to Guitar Center when I need strings, take like 3 and wear them down, and yeah, that's
Hey, I mean that's a good system.
Yeah.
We literally get them in bags like this full.
yeah. I'm not picky about that.
Yeah, I mean like guitar amps. Like I'm the opposite of Riley. I'm like on the Supro and like the Tweed, the Fender Tweeds.
Oh yeah.
Like I am.
Clean tone.
I love because there's just a lot of headroom.
Yeah.
Like a fucking like a Fender 2x12 Tweed amp, and like I have the Blackmagic Supro, and that's all I need. Right?
Yeah.
Both those amps do everything I need.
Yeah.
They can even get close to the Marshall tone in a pinch if you need it.
Yeah.
And then like bass guitars like G&L, I have a very, very nice G&L.
Yeah.
That
bass in there is really nice.
that's my Ibanez, which I found on the internet. But like my 2 favorite basses are actually a different Ibanez. I have a vintage Roadster. It's black with white pickups. It's a PJ configuration and it's, maple fretboard, and it is. I love that bass.
Oh, we also have matching flying.
We have
Bs.
matching flying bass.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's dope.
I have a Epiphone Carina with leopard print pick guard.
And I've got a Carina Flying V
They
bass.
used to belong to Kyle from Mothership.
Yeah.
Like that's probably my favorite Dallas band is Mothership. So like we have like his old bass. Probably get leopard print on that at some point. Just.
Now you just gotta get the leopard print strap. Just
Yeah.
a thick leopard print strap.
Oh yeah, full sex leopard for sure.
All right. So what was the first song that we heard?
Voodoo Doll.
How you said this is an older song?
One of the first.
One of the first ones we wrote. I
Back in
went to
2012, you said?
13. Ish in that
it's
era.
probably 13.
13.
13.
Yeah.
Ryan joined the band in 2013.
Yeah. I went to New Orleans for my 21st birthday, and it's basically just a recollection of what I thought of New Orleans.
shit.
Talks about New Orleans a lot, and it's got some, kind of tarot lingo in there and stuff. And, it was just kind of, as far as like that album it's on, it's probably the most redeemable song out of, I think it was 5 tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a couple on there that people liked for a while, but that one was
The only one that we still play with.
yeah, that's the reason we did it here, because it's like been 8 years and it's still a great song. So
What is song 2 that we're going into?
Reverend Ruckus?
Reverend Ruckus.
Reverend
That's
Ruckus.
the punk track.
Yeah.
Super great. Well, I don't know what you want to call it.
it's called like garage rock.
Yeah, garage
Yeah.
rock punk track.
Yeah.
That is my favorite and least favorite track on that album, because like the quality is meh, but at the same time it's so fucking
Great song.
slap you in the face
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
can't help but not enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like
It's
great.
like we played with a band from Colorado called MF Ruckus, and it was at Ryan's house. We had a house show with them. And they pulled up with their tour bus because their show had got canceled, so we booked them at there just to kind of like save their night.
Yeah.
And we had such a great, awesome party and learned so much from like watching them play.
Yeah.
And after they left, we felt like so compelled by how awesome that show was to like write a song about that. So it's called Reverend Ruckus because it's like their band name was MF Ruckus, but also like a reverend is supposed to be like, we looked at it as like they're preachers of rock.
I see it.
It's got kind of like a Motorhead was kind of the influence for the riff and everything. So,
But Ryan, didn't you like one take that?
yeah,
Well,
yeah, we did that. Yeah,
I think we're like running low on time or something, and I was like,
I
let's
just fucking do
Yeah.
this real quick.
like, I don't like the way it turned out just because the tempo is just all over the place.
But he one took the track and it worked though.
yeah. That's why we wanted to do it here, because that recording, it's a great song and we still play
His
it.
drum part is super fucking intricate too.
It's great.
So you're just like, how the hell did you like
Yeah,
time fluctuations and all, whatever you want to say about it.
capturing me like in a bottle.
That's why
Just
we
like,
wanted to do it here, because we were like, we need like a good recording of the song, because the recording that we had of
It
that
wasn't
was
quite
it
up
wasn't very
to
good at all.
snuff.
And this was like 7 years ago, and like so we were like, let's get a good recording of that because that's probably one of the best songs of our early days.
I love that song still.
It's a great song.
All right, guys. So we are going into Reverend Ruckus. We're still here with the Infamous. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Hell's House Band need a place to play. 5 minutes from Rocky Mountain Way. Put gasoline in their body machine while the wicked woman played tambourine. Broken bottles everywhere, but nobody cares. Drinking so much we almost drowned, but we remember when Reverend Ruckus came to town. Abstracted baby has another hit on my cigar. Cocaine, nerve drain, anything to ease the pain. Miles of steel on a runaway train. Leave the street and never gonna be the same. Cigarette butts all over the floor, panties hanging on the door. Sinning so fast we were hellbound, but we remember when Reverend Ruckus came to town. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. The church whispered round after round, but we remember when Reverend Ruckus came to town.
Welcome back to Audio Carnage Podcast. We're still here with the Infamous, and y'all just heard Reverend Ruckus. So, guys, what would you say your do you prefer to write in the studio or in the room? Would you rather be like if you have the computer and software, would you rather write it like on the computer and map it out, or would you rather jam it out in the room?
I think that's Ryan's thing. Ryan likes to write it on computer.
Yeah, he just sent us one he like mapped out for us the other day,
And it's like a really good fucking
like
song.
start to finish, all the lyrics, the riffs. He like wrote our riffs, and it's we're working on it still, working out the kinks. But it's a great song. That's probably the first one we've done that way.
Because that is an effective method, like especially like as the bands get used to doing that kind of style, like it gets really, especially if you like as a drummer, like click tracks.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how I like operate. Is like just everything organized, and it's like
you don't have to forget it. It's
yeah, exactly. I have a reference point, but
I have to have an acoustic. I like to bring things to them. I don't like to just fucking make shit up as we go.
We've done that a couple times.
It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of embraced every style. I guess probably the most common way is I'll have something or they'll have something and we'll show it to each other, and it'll be like, here's like kind of a riff, maybe a chorus idea.
Here's what I like, don't like.
Give each other a prompt.
Yeah,
take it home.
That's my favorite way to do it, is when I'll look at him and I'll be like, here's 14 song titles, and he's like, I like these 3.
I can relate to these 3. These could be about something I can relate to.
Okay, that's cool.
Or the other way around is, I'll throw him a riff.
Yeah, the riff game.
The riff game is probably the most common.
Yeah.
And I would strike that as an in the room kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of mostly always premeditated in some way, whether someone maps it out or someone has a riff. But as far as like just getting together and coming up with something being like, that was cool, that's happened a few times, but we kind of generally like do our own thing, and then when we really like something we've created, we show it to each other.
I'm not sure if somebody put a microscope on us in the studio, we could necessarily. I mean, sure we could if we had to.
Yeah.
I would not prefer that.
Yeah. I'm open to any kind of process, really. And then sometimes we'll also have songs where we'll be like, let's make a song like this, like see how they do this thing here, and we'll kind of like go off that. And sometimes we'll be like, you know what we haven't done is like a psych song. So then like the goal is to like first one to write the psych song wins. Yeah. You know? So.
What other bands have y'all been in?
I was in like a screamo band before them. I guess in high school and early college.
Y'all been together for a while, so
yeah.
like 8 years. Yeah. It's pretty much been it for 8 years.
But other than that, it's been with these guys.
Yeah, I was in once I moved down here from Amarillo in 2012. This is all I've done. But when I lived in Amarillo, I played drums in a band called the Foxfire Experiment for like 2 gigs. Well, I'm not a very good drummer, obviously, so that didn't work. And then I moved, so it's just like, sorry, I'm moving. But the main thing I was in Amarillo when I was leaving high school, early college, I played with my buddy Jade. It was his band, and he wrote all the music, and I played the guitar in the band. And he did like one record, I played one guitar solo on it, and then the next record we had the full band play, and I did all the lead work. And he never released it because then the band broke up, but I still have it in my car, and it's a great record. But it's kind of like kind of like the Marilyn Manson, Roz Williams, because people mistake him all the time for Marilyn Manson. He's tall, he's kind of gothic guy, but at least back then he was. But yeah, it was kind of like that. It was kind of like art rock. Like imagine like Marilyn Manson's aesthetic, but clean. Like not all the dirty industrial riffs.
Yeah.
And we played all over Amarillo. It was a pretty good band actually. And then I moved, but I still keep in touch with him. He edited our video on YouTube called "Champagne in the Killing Field," and he's going to edit our next one that we're about to shoot. So I still keep in touch. But those are the main things I've done.
And then I was in a local band before this called White Bison. That was like the 6 months before, 7 months before this started. It was a band that got a little popular, and we had like some big shows, and then it just kind of fell apart as things tend to do. Fuck that fly.
And then I moved here.
And then I met Riley, and then we did that.
What made you move here?
My family just moved, and I was still in college, so I was like, perfect, UNT.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then a couple years ago, I have started the second iteration of my solo career outside of this, I guess, called the Static Creatures, and working on a record with them right now. And that's just like, that's everything that doesn't make it here.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that's, it's more Americana. Maybe Riley's just like, I don't like that riff, and I'm like, cool, I'll do it.
Yeah.
In this band.
Yeah, because we all like such different stuff, but the Infamists have like kind of certain sounds we can do well, and then sometimes it's like a little too clean for me or a little too nice. So
and that
works great for his other band. And then you had a solo record.
Yeah, and then I did a solo record of my own. So
I guess right when I moved here, I tried to do some solo stuff. I had when I was 19, I did just did it on my laptop and had my buddy Jade mix it and everything, called Lust, Lies, and Guns. And then I did another one called Night at the Stardust, and they're awful. Like, don't go look them up. You won't find them unless you dig through Bandcamp.
Riley.
Some people do that.
Riley has 2 solo albums on Bandcamp.
Yeah, I have 2 solo albums on Bandcamp that nobody's heard. I ordered like 100 CDs of one and gave them all away. And you listen to it, and like there's some like good guitar riffs and stuff that I still actually like that we could probably even reuse one day.
But we played a lot of the songs.
And we did play
in the early iteration.
When we
didn't have any songs.
When we first started, basically, like, our first set list was like some stuff that I had written that I just taught them because it's like, let's just learn it, do some gigs.
And we have some songs to play.
Yeah, but those songs were called like Harley Quinn,
Bourbon Fire.
Bourbon Fire. Like, there were a few. But yeah, nobody's really heard that music. It sucks. I played drums on it, so you can imagine how shitty it must be. But there's some good guitar stuff.
It's definitely, when you listen to it though, it's definitely, you can hear what is to come.
Yeah.
It's a baby version of what this ended up becoming.
I did not know how to, I still don't really know how to sing, but I definitely didn't know how to sing.
You've gotten a lot better.
And I mixed it me and Jade mixed it on my laptop, so it's just, I did that, and basically I did that just to like prove I could. In a way, because I was like, I can't find anybody to play with.
Why does anybody who has a really good band do a solo record?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That's why I did one, just to prove that I could do it.
Yeah, but that was probably like 10 years ago when I did those, so don't go listen to them.
Or do.
If you find them.
So, what would you say the best show you've ever played is?
Fuck, that's a few of them.
Trees is up there.
Yeah, the one and only tree show we've done so far was fucking
Trees
amazing.
Is
just being there, even if nobody went, just the fact we played.
Yeah, it's just so many people have played on the stage.
But to be fair, there were people there, so
we weren't playing to the bar.
Well, that place was almost never empty.
Yeah. There were like 60, 80 people, which in Trees is not a huge crowd.
But if you put it in a smaller venue,
it would have been a packed show in a smaller venue. But
man, I don't know about that one. We've done
so many great Wits In shows.
There was a couple years in a row we did like 100 gigs a year.
Okay.
So like, because when he was the talent buyer for different places, we would often play because it was like
easy to slip in.
It was easy to slip in.
It's like, hey, we got a slot.
We were like, we really need a show, so we kind of took advantage of it.
One of the best shows we ever did was the Cinco de Mayo show at Crown and Harp on the last weekend it was open.
Yeah,
that was a great show. It was like the 40 person capacity venue had 185 people in it.
Yeah,
it was fucking amazing.
Andy's when we played
both of our CD release shows.
Yeah, some CD release shows were great. We did a show at Dan's with the Holophonics. That was awesome. And it was a ska show. And we opened, and we're a rock and roll band, and the whole crowd was just like, you don't have brass instruments, but you're cool.
But you're cool. You vibe.
I remember that being a great show.
That one, we've never had a bad Dan's show.
Great. Every time we've ever played Harvest House has been fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like some out of town shows that.
A couple of South by shows have been good.
Some Blue Note shows were fun.
Yeah, Blue Note in Oklahoma City. End Hip End It, the festival in Houston, our buddy Dar put on. They had like Black Tusk, Woe Fat,
Ghostland Observatory.
Ghostland Observatory was ironically the main band,
which I did not like them.
Amplified Heat, just all these awesome. It was so cool. Yeah, I didn't even really care about our set. I was just like, I'm exposed to all these great bands.
Yeah, just the experience was so awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot to pick from there though. We did a few hundred shows for a couple years in a row.
I would say that in 10, how many do you think we've done in like 9, 10 years?
Man.
We've done at least 500-600.
I would say at least 4 just to be safe. But yeah, it's up there. It's like how it's.
That's a good amount of sets.
Long time. Yeah. I mean, we wouldn't turn down shows for a while when we first started. We were like, nobody knows who we are, and like the first few years we were like, we're kind of bad, so like we need to keep getting stage presence.
It's funny because like 2019 and then 2020 till COVID. And since things have kind of started to open back up and we started playing, we've had to turn down more than we've played.
Yeah, people like us enough to where they're palatable, they do what they do well, they're a fun show to watch. Even if like our draw is weak at a show, they know that we're going to be like professional and easy to work with. Yeah, we don't complain. If somebody's like, we can't pay you, it sucks, but it's like, let's go sell some t-shirts, whatever.
Buy me a beer.
We don't complain. We show up on time. We watch the other bands, and we just like playing. So we get offered a lot of shows, and sometimes we do have to turn them down. But since COVID's done, every show we've done this year has been great. Like,
well, that's what I've noticed is like people are really
Yeah.
turning out and having a blast at which also every show I've been to, I've been having a blast myself.
Right.
Like just because I'm happy to be out.
Yeah, right.
So that's why I'm excited for our gig coming up.
Yeah.
I'm so ready to be on stage again.
The last like 12 shows we've done, I mean, even the ones that like I guess we could have played a little better, they were still awesome. People were like so ready for it, and it's just like if you want a gig right now, you got a gig.
It's also been really nice to see consistent faces.
Yeah.
Because for years, you know, like every band goes through those ebbs and flows where, like, when you first start, all of your friends, all your college friends will come see you play.
Yeah.
Then when you get closer to graduation or you've hit that second, third year, they're like, I've seen you 15 times.
Yeah.
I don't want to come see you. And then you go through those ebbs and flows where, like, you get a great bill together and there's 500 people. And then sometimes you have a great fucking bill, there's 4 people.
Yeah, I mean, we put everything into it. A few people have told me, like, you're way better live, and it's like, I mean, like,
that makes sense,
your records are good, but I kind of want to be better live, because I like playing, you know?
Yeah.
Well, but, like, most bands are better live, I feel like.
That's especially true for us.
Also, I feel like every generation since probably our parents' generation has slowly gotten like more used to having the visual aspect to audio. So I've noticed that like a lot of the my younger students, like the ones that are like 10, 11, 12, I'm like, what bands do you even know? What songs do you... They can't even place a song or whatnot. But as soon as I'm like, oh, well, this song from this movie. Oh, okay. Yeah. They're just so used to the multi-stimulation. They like... And so my whole premise of this, like, being able to perform live is one of those skills that, like, because I know some really technical bands that only do stuff, like releasing. I'm like, man, what is it if you can't perform it? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm in.
Because I feel like the visual aspect...
I will say, though, that early on, we did kind of take it as a slight insult. And it made us better.
Yeah.
Like, it made us record better.
Our records are, you know, every record's an improvement on the last.
Well, also, album production, you as musicians learn the process.
On my laptop anymore.
Like, the budgets get higher, like...
Well, budgets get higher, we learn...
The technical...
Riley and I sit down before we do every album, and we're like, what guitar combinations are we going to use? We didn't do that on the first 2 albums.
Yeah.
It's like, what bass, what amp, what guitar, what effects?
I'm super OCD, like really bad, to the point where like when I go to bed at night, I have to touch the stove to make sure it's off so I don't burn the house down. I'm crazy. But when it comes to recording, I have like a spiral, and I'm like, this song, this guitar, this pedal, here, this amp.
Since we started doing that too, the quality has gone very up.
It makes me feel better going into the studio knowing exactly what I'm going to do. And I don't have to think about it.
We very rarely make changes from the deep, we don't deviate from our plan. But then every now and then, like we were recording this last one, he was playing a couple like lead parts and it just wasn't sounding right on a Strat. And I was like, go get my Gretsch. He went and got my Gretsch hollow body with the Bigsby. And it was perfect for that one little part.
And that's how it is.
Yeah. And there's parts you listen back to that you wrote or something, and you listen back and it's like, that's a little too like convoluted or complicated. Let's simplify it. And it's like, oh, that's way better.
Also the flip side of that is when you hear old songs and then you're like, fuck. Because, like, on Devil in Times Square, like, I have that bass thing that I play live now, but when we wrote it, I didn't think about it. So, like, additions to songs that happen later is funny, too.
Yeah, whenever you set it, or write it in stone, like, and you keep playing those songs live, there's, like, new stuff that that you end up doing, too.
The more you... Like, a lot of times bands, like, rush out and try to get the album out first. Whereas I like, for our band, we didn't have a CD until, like, middle of COVID. And it didn't bother me because everybody who knew us from playing live. And the nice part about that is we got to figure out our shit, like, even though we had our framework and we had rough recordings and stuff like that, we got to figure out all the little nuances, all those little details before we ever...
We don't put stuff on records anymore without taking out for several test drives. When you're scrambling and trying to earn your way and have a record, sometimes shit does not get played before it gets recorded.
Yeah, we take everything out, do it live.
And some stuff gets thrown away if there's no...
Yeah, we scrap songs.
If we don't like it, maybe the crowd's not into it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Or we're just like, I don't like fucking playing this. Yeah. That's usually it.
And we're not going to make it eternal by recording it.
Yeah.
So what is the third song that we're going to go into?
The third song is called Mama's Boy. And,
it's about cougars.
It's about cougars. It's about,
MILFs.
Put the kid to bed so I can be your backdoor man kind of thing.
We like cougars and MILFs.
I know it's not the most artistic or I guess.
I don't know.
Beavis and a Wasp in this.
You've got a lot of really fun sexual references in that song. So
it's just a fun song. Don't look at it like I'm a poet or anything.
My favorite part of that song is all the riffs.
Yeah, the riffs and grooves. Just the way it's just so much fun to play. It's really dancey. The lyrical content is like, you might snub it, but the riff. And,
like listening back, we recorded it like kind of chronologically, how like when it was released, and listening just our earlier stuff's like way more garagey, and as we progress, it gets a little like still loud and heavy, but cleaner, more refined.
Yeah.
Well, cleaner might be the wrong word.
Not tone, but like just
cleaner. But
like our planes cleaner.
Yeah.
Oh, we're just better.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite ones to play live. The chorus is fun to sing. And the riff.
That jumpy fucking riff is so goddamn ridiculous.
The studio version has an organ in it.
Yeah.
So,
Eric did the organ solo on that, which is cool.
So not the most poetic song, but it's so fun. It's just
unless you like MILFs and Cougars.
Yeah.
Then it's the most poetic song I've ever heard.
Hey, we like those.
Yeah. So that's Mama's Boy though. It's track 2 on our last album, Champagne in the Killing Field.
All right. So y'all are about to hear Mama's Boy. This is still the Infamous. We will be right back.
All she gets is bruises.
welcome back. Y'all just heard Mama's Boy. We're still here with the Infamous. So, guys, what would you say are some musicians that you admire? Like, do you have any that are local that y'all just love their fucking work ethic?
All of them.
Well,
So many of our
any
friends.
specific ones?
God, the guys in Novocaine are
Yeah.
probably one of our longest standing friends.
Yeah, one of our first gigs was with
They
them.
are
Fort Worth Power
they
Trio.
still-
they are without a doubt the most genuine people
Yeah.
I've ever met,
Yeah.
and all three of them are
Yeah,
top notch at their instruments.
yeah, super groovy, classic rock sounding. I mean, like, so I guess as like a guitar player, I mean, I worked at this music museum in Irving for a while, and I just saw these like all these old school Oak Cliff guitar players that like knew Stevie Ray Vaughan back in the day personally, and it's like there must just be something in the water in Oak Cliff, you know, where he was from. And I just was like bartending at this museum that was a venue, and I just watched all these guys like Jim Suhler, who plays in George Thorogood's band. Just all these guys would come through them, and I just like learned a ton from them. But I really got a lot out of that. Definitely made me a better guitar player just from watching that, you know, from behind a bar.
Where is this place?
It was called the Texas Musicians Museum in Irving. It was around for like 3 years. It closed in 2018, but I was like a tour guide bartender
Damn,
there.
that sounds
It was
really
so
fucking
fun.
cool. I would
It
have
was,
loved to have
yeah.
seen.
It was awesome.
Like I did not. I've never heard of that. But if I would have known that was a thing, I would have went there a long time ago.
Yeah.
it was really cool.
Yeah, and living in Denton, like, I mean, so many people play music and are so, you know, it's so great here. Just everybody plays. There's something you can learn from everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the biggest thing is like anytime I watch, drummers, but just musicians, there's always something you can take.
Yeah.
Sometimes
They're
it's
better
from
at something than you.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it's sometimes I think all three of us would admit to this. Sometimes we forget to enjoy what we're watching because
Yeah.
we're analyzing and trying to.
Yeah.
It's like how do we get better? How do we take this?
What are you doing that I'm not doing, and why do you sound the way you do if I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it, so I can replicate it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's
It's my favorite when people come up to me and they tell me how fucking good of a bass player I am, because that's just.
Yeah.
I'm a mediocre bass player,
Yeah.
but it's funny when they're like, holy
Yeah.
shit, like, you're so good, and I'm like, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I love it.
You and I have like some kind of showmanship thing though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Like,
Like we feed off each other. We're like piranhas. Like
people, when we go back to back a lot,
Oh yeah,
and
back
people
to back
just
thing.
fucking eat that shit.
and we do, sometimes we do the dumb kiss shit where we're like
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh my god.
people are like, it's cheesy as hell, but it's like, you paid $5, you want a show, you know? I can't spit blood and blow fire for you, so Spencer and I
Not
are
with that
gonna,
attitude.
Spencer and I are gonna get erotic, semi-erotic.
We'll hump
with
our
each other, you know?
guitars.
This is at least
Yeah.
gonna be PG.
Yeah, so
All right. So what about famous musicians? What's some famous musicians that y'all really admire?
go for it.
No, I
Mine's I mean mine's generic, you know, guitar players. Hendrix, Stevie, Billy Gibbons, Angus Young was like my first favorite guitar player. Highway to Hell was the album that I was like, I want to play guitar. Everybody always talks shit on AC/DC, but it's like, do you watch Angus? Like, what, you know, I mean, I love what Angus does. The duck walk.
Another
and
one of those that's just it's been done. It's
Yeah.
been played. Everybody's heard it so many
Yeah,
times that
I
it's
love
like
it.
lost the
I love
effect
it.
of
That Marshall tone.
Oh, yeah.
I love it, man. I don't really have anything like super unique to say. I just like, you know, the Jimmy Pages and the Slashes of the world. I just like guitar players from that era. But yeah, just like look up Rolling Stones 100 greatest guitar players. I like all those.
hey,
You know?
nothing wrong with that.
So
As far as drummers, Stuart Copeland, Aaron Gillespie. I like a lot of YouTube guys like that. They'll give lessons and
There's
stuff.
a lot of those.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Mike Johnston, Orlando drummer Adam, whatever his name is, Luke Holland. All the YouTube guys are
Pamela
awesome.
Anderson.
Yeah.
You know, all the greats. You know.
I mean, Keith Richards.
Yeah. Big Stones guy.
Everything about Keith Richards. I've tried. I know he's not a bass player, but he's a really good bass player. Ironically.
Well, he writes really good bass lines in his guitar.
Yeah. Well, but he also played bass on like so many of their fucking hits too. Because either Bill Wyman wasn't around or he was like, no, I'm going to fucking play bass on this because I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, I've tried to model the way I move, especially.
Yeah.
A lot of grand hand gestures and fucking my feet. I try to move like he does. I've based my entire movement off of him. But then, like, songwriters, in addition to Mick and Keith, obviously, is like Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Like, Tom Petty is not the Infamists. There may not be any sound in this band that is influenced by Tom Petty, but I love Tom Petty.
Yeah. Oh, Brian May from
especially
Queen. Those, like, just Brian May's guitar playing is like every solo he's ever written makes so much sense. There's no wasted notes. Just so tasteful, great tone. Brian May's one of my favorites. Of course, gotta mention him.
I don't listen to bass players. I don't
You like Duff, don't you?
Yeah, well, yeah, but who doesn't?
Everybody likes
I like
Duff.
Roger Waters and Bill Wyman too, but I've never been. I like the fucking bass player.
Yeah.
I like the guitar players.
Yeah.
Hey,
and then I just also happen to be the bass player in this band.
Yeah.
No, I understand. I play bass in my band, but guitar's where I started.
Yeah.
I absolutely fucking love whenever you hit the low E or the low B, whatever. I prefer 5. But whenever you hit that and you got a good sound system and you're on like the raised stage and you're like already on the balls of your feet because you're hyped up and you just feel it go.
Yeah.
And then you stop and then just done.
Yeah.
And then just and that's the one thing that doesn't happen with like a little bit with the kick drum.
Yeah.
But like you make the world rumble for that whenever you have that system, and I fucking love
it.
it.
You feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it in your balls.
In your ass.
Alright guys, so this is the point where we can go ahead and come to a close. So what shows do y'all have coming up that are, yet again, as I said, this is more of a time capsule. What y'all got going on in the near future?
Let me pull out my
handy dandy
calendar here.
Here, while he's looking up that, where can we find y'all?
We are on the Spotify.
Yeah.
We are on the Bandcamp.
iTunes, Amazon, all the major retailers.
YouTube.
Bandcamp obviously benefits the band the most. So
is it just the Infamists?
Yeah, just the Infamists. .bandcamp.com.
Just put that into Google. You'll find
we even still have a Reverb Nation.
We haven't updated it in a while.
I've got a few new songs on there. I even have a SoundCloud, and sometimes I'm like,
that's where the mixtape is.
I'm like, here's a new song.
Trying out your trap album.
We're on YouTube. We got a lot of YouTube stuff. Got a few music videos on there. Pretty much anywhere you probably listen to music that's like mainstream like that. As far as upcoming shows, we've got August 7th. We're playing at Dr. Jekyll's Beer Lab.
Where's that?
It's in Pantego.
A suburb of Arlington.
Yeah, with the homies from Austin, Wild Tinderbox. And then August 14th, we're at Division Brewing, probably our favorite Arlington place.
For Anton's
birthday. He's the Toke Mage. He makes these cool one-hitters for bands. And, you put your stuff in there and you have some fun. And he puts your logo on them, so you can get some one-hitters from him. Those are probably like the two main ones. And then we're back at Andy's in Denton, first show since they've started doing shows, on September 24th with Dallas guys Primo Danger, who we also met this year. Great guys, great band, so we're playing with them. And those are like the main ones for the next couple months. I'm sure there'll be more. Yeah, those three are the main ones.
Y'all said y'all have an EP coming out?
Yeah.
Yes. It's been coming out for over a year now.
It's coming soon.
Yeah.
We've been sitting on it for a while.
We finished it in April of 2020, so right when COVID started to get real bad.
We were actually recording whenever like Tom Hanks got it and like the NBA got suspended. We were like in a recording session.
We had band practice when Kobe Bryant died.
We were like, Tom Hanks has COVID, and we like finished it. It's called Invocations of Insurgency, and it's 4 tracks, and
it's very political.
I mean, I wouldn't market it that way, but I would call it's more of a personal response to the last 4 years, and you can probably guess how we feel about certain things if you listen to it, But I'll let the, listeners decide that. There's also a song on there called Holy Hell about Ryan's experience in Catholic school. So it's kind of talks a little bit about religion, talks a little bit about politics, talks a little bit about
all the things we try to avoid on the podcast.
So I won't go into it too much, but it's more cryptic. It's not super obvious stuff, but if you pay close attention, you can kind of get our feelings on it. But it's good EP.
Do y'all have a date on that?
No, not yet. It'll probably be in the fall. We got to go do a music video for the single. That'll probably be out early fall, and then probably a few weeks after that we'll just launch it, because we've been sitting on this for like a year
over
now.
a year.
And it's not like we didn't have a while to where nothing was going on. Now you can get back to playing shows again. And then as y'all got more shows, you'll have something to be able to sell.
We released a single called a 2-part single called The Torment of Heroes during COVID that was super well received. And then we thought about releasing the EP, and we were like, nah, let's wait till we can do a release show.
We're gonna print it. We want to
print it, hard copies.
Because you can get rid of a lot of those copies at that first release show.
We were tempted to release it during COVID just to stay relevant during that time, but it's
all you had to do for that is just practice. Because I know so many bands that
we wrote a lot of great songs.
We caught people off guard when we started playing shows, because people would hit us up and be like, y'all are playing shows, and we're like, yeah, dude. Yeah. And we've been practicing this whole time.
Yeah. I know some acts, and I'm not gonna say any names, but I was trying to book them, and turns out they haven't had any new material, and it's just we had so much time. How has everybody not been itching to play?
Yeah.
And so that's one of the benefits to a lot of the people. We never stopped practicing, because we all basically were
we had a few months where we didn't.
And we did take a couple of months,
and I think we all got real depressed. And once we we wrote some of our best songs ever during COVID, and they'll be on the next full length we do. They're in our set list now. But yeah, I mean, COVID had its highs and lows. Obviously, mostly lows.
But most definitely. I'm just excited for this new comeback of everybody being excited for shows and everything. Just having some new content to be able to push out to people is really, really beneficial. Also, that I'm assuming y'all are going to be playing some of these EP stuff on some of y'all's gigs.
We just played one of them.
Fair enough.
The last one.
Yeah. Good segue.
That is a perfect marketing tool into our segue. So, guys, what is our final song?
Thoughts and Prayers.
And so we're from the Columbine generation.
Yes, we are.
And you probably, if you watch the news, that happened, and that's kind of been a constant social issue. I'm not going to say how I feel about any of that, because it's your podcast. We don't talk about that here. But if you listen to the song, you'll probably get our feelings on it. It's a pretty aggressive song.
It's the second song ever that I started.
Yeah.
Which we did both of them.
Oh yeah, we did both of them.
But I was like, wait.
This is only the second one I ever started.
It's basically kind of a slap at anytime some kind of tragedy we're not particularly religious either, so anytime you have any kind of tragedy,
that's the response we get.
The hashtag on Twitter is thoughts and prayers, so that's our response to your thoughts and prayers.
I definitely from hearing the song I definitely see where you're standing.
That's one of
but you can discern it for yourself.
That's one of my favorite riffs I ever wrote, because I was sitting in my office chair at work, and I was just sitting there going,
I work in IT.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I work in an office job. Oh my god, it's IT. And I was like, how is this gonna go? And I sat down and I showed it to Riley, and at first he was like, that's cool, but I don't know what the fuck to do with this.
It's also a cool song because it's got 4 verses. And no choruses.
No chorus.
Yeah, the structure's different.
Because we by that point in the recording process, we were we kind of do the standard, intro, verse, chorus kind of thing a lot of the time. And sometimes we differ out, and I was like, what structure can we do that's just a little bit different? And It was like 4 verses.
This song also has an
and
outro.
a solo in the middle.
And a guitar solo.
But it also has an outro.
And then a big grand outro.
Which we don't have on
yeah,
either.
So yeah, it's no choruses.
Hey, changing up always good.
It's a
fun,
unique
though.
blend of a bunch of different circumstances.
It works for the song though, you know. I can't even imagine what a chorus would sound like for that song, you know. So,
all right, guys. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
yeah,
It's always
Thanks for having us.
It was great.
like
This is fun.
Yeah.
this experience is always fun for me because I get to see bands in like I'm the only person in the room. I literally get a private concert. But
Right.
it is a lot of work, but it's a lot of fucking fun. And I'll definitely, as I'm going forward, I try to have bands cycle back through. And
Sure.
as I've told y'all, so whenever we get into the further seasons, we'll definitely stay in touch, and I'll have y'all come back.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I'll be ready for it.
So
be ready.
we are about to hear thoughts and prayers. This fight is at the end. This is the end, and this is still the infamous. All right, guys, we are out of here.
All right. Thanks.
All of your condolences go in one ear and out the other. Guy's been sleeping all damn day, it's hard to keep him sober. Battle to a cross, remember the Holocaust. All the other things, your thoughts and prayers should have stopped. Amen! Massacres are normalized, they happen every week. Try your eyes, the creek won't ride, the just don't speak. Bow to a shrine, never Columbine. All the other things, your thoughts and prayers left behind. Bible belt is blowing smoke, needs a hustle for it's good. All the politicians say it's how the West was won. Free the churches bail, keep you out of hell. All the other things, your thoughts and prayers can help, baby. Gather in their masses, preaching for a change. Push and pull the second rule, it all remains the same.